An I-Team exclusive. Renewed scrutiny on escalating violence at the Essex County Correctional Facility after a former New York City rapper who was awaiting sentencing on federal drug charges got slashed in a vicious altercation with another inmate. It happened yesterday afternoon, and investigative reporter Sarah Wallace has inside information.
Self-proclaimed blood gang member who pleaded guilty to federal drug conspiracy charges last year was involved in a vicious fight yesterday at the Essex County Correctional Facility in Newark. These internal reports from correction officers say Senior was slashed with a weapon by another inmate, Ulysses Lugo, and then chased him down with the help of others. We spoke with one officer who responded to the scene.
Inmate Lugo, you couldn't see his face because he was saturated in blood. You couldn't see it at the time because his whole face was saturated in blood and his whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Senior was sitting there and blood was just coming out of his face.
A spokesman for the county told us this minor incident and whether weapons were employed is under investigation. Insiders tell us the unit was not searched last night or this morning, but in a recent interview with me, the director insisted they have implemented enhanced searches.
We're doing the searches 2 shifts a day. I'm doing everything that you can from a correctional administrator handbook done.
And then there's the issue of officer training. Retired Correction Lieutenant Jim Teresi reiterated what we've highlighted in recent stories.
Took a 4-month officer with no academy training and we put her alone with 64 federal prisoners who she has no idea who they are or what they're there for.
In January, state law will require correction officers to go through the police academy before they oversee inmates. But in the meantime, the numbers are disturbing. Since March, before yesterday, there were 17 codes, inmate-on-inmate assaults or inmate-on-officer assaults. Ironically, yesterday's violence came on the same day that a jury found 3 inmates guilty of the 2021 jail beating of Jayshawn Boyd. 2 were convicted of attempted murder. Boyd suffered permanent brain damage. His family has filed a civil lawsuit against the county.
Are you surprised that there's still cases of violence after this happened to your son?
Yes. Yes, I am. They're doing nothing about it. Something needs to be done.
No weapons were found after yesterday's attack, but one inmate was seen trying to flush something down the toilet. By the way, in the federal case, the former rapper is scheduled to be sentenced later this month. He could face a maximum of 60 years in prison. From Newark, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Yo, 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 it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in on Brooklyn, New York rapper Casanova and everything that has gone on with the federal RICO case that he caught back in 2020 and where we are today as news just broke that he was slashed in the face. And I'm adding links in the description from NBC4 who put this news report out there, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of the write-up that kind of goes back over from the actual documents where all hip-hop say they got from the jail about this incident that went down. And in December 2020, Casanova ended up turning himself in on the federal indictment that him and his crew had received. In the beginning, he did plead not guilty. As more and more time went on, we started seeing more things get revealed about the case of what they was accused of, gang involvement, weed business, different type of scams during the pandemic, and different crew members had different things that they were accused of. Then eventually it came out that they were charging him with 2 gang incidents, saying that, hey, he had a shooting he was involved in over a rival gang incident in Miami, and also a shooting that he was involved in over a dice game. So he had actually pled guilty last year. They said that he was facing up to 15 to 60. Well, yesterday it hit all the blogs, all the media, went everywhere online on Instagram, Twitter, that Casanova had wrote a letter to the judge renouncing the gang activity, saying that he was going to be talking against gangs, saying, hey, I was just a rapper using the gang image to kind of push my career forward and everything like that, basically asking for leniency on his sentencing. Casanova's in his 30s. 60 years is a long time. 15 is a long time. Reality was setting in like, hey, I got to do something. I have a kid. I have a family. I can try to wiggle some room, maybe get some leniency with the judge to only give me 15, and we had to wait and see. But then it broke today he was now slashed in the face. And then they said this right here with that also. Court documents report Casanova, whose real name is Caswell Sr., was physically assaulted with the weapon, believed to be some sort of blade across the face, by another inmate named Ulysses Lugo. After getting slashed, he chased Lugo, jumped on top of him, and cut inmate Lugo's face several times. Reports say Casanova didn't act alone. Others hopped into the altercation and joined in the violent melee. A correction officer said, inmate Lugo, you couldn't see his face because it was saturated in blood, and his whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Senior was sitting there and blood was just coming out of his face. And that's that real dark side of prison, because these things go on regularly there. Just you don't see a rapper that is known and got a name and status going through it regularly, and you can see it in real time how it played out. Now in the blogs and the media, when you look at the headlines, even the title on this video, it's gonna look away because it could be like, hey, did they do this because he wrote that letter about the gang and everything? But this could have been something that was already brewing. I can't pinpoint why this happened, but this always happens in jail. It could be over something real small or real big. They got different type of politics in there, different type of understanding. And this is why I tell us as a people, we gotta stay out this situation to where we gotta face this type of stuff. Getting your face cut, your babies gotta hear this in a free world, your lady gotta hear this, your family that love you and care about you. Casanova that lost family members while he up in there. And it's tough, bro. He already served all this time before, but this is the real life of this shit, because you don't get to dictate what go on around you up in there. We got to stay out this system where they benefit off of us. So I tell us, stay out the mix as much as possible. You might have to hustle. You might have to grind, get your play on, but don't crash yourself out. The violence, the stepping, the shooting, the killing, things like that, that's what's going to get you there. Focus on that money. Protect yourself at all times, because it's real out here when you get money in the streets. And I understand some of us going to have to go that route. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you don't hustle and trap, because I ain't got no way for you to put food on your table. But if you can avoid being in that mix and getting violent, stay out that mix, man. Keep niggas out your business. Do your dirt by your lonesome. That's just how the game go. It's the other side of it. Tell me what y'all think. More videos, 1000 for Shit Show. Stay on your pivot.